In today's video, I want to show you a few simple tricks on how to paint lips easily and what to avoid to get a realistic look. And for the first time, I'm also trying that with a dark skin tone. Before we start the actual painting, I want to give a shout out to the guys over at Wicked and Berserk. I used their Shazam and Silk Spectrum models to create those lip towers, and they allowed me to share them so you can download them on Thingiverse if you want to practice painting lips without printing a bunch of full head sculpts. Okay, so to get the job done, you at least need a bottle of red acrylic paint, but what also works and what I usually prefer are pastels. We start with the pale skin and with what not to do. What you don't want to do for male lips is to take an undiluted red paint and paint the lips with that. This will lead to a completely unnatural looking lip tone. However, for female lips, just using a regular red already works as a lipstick color. And forgive me for using a way too big and old brush and not doing the best job of trimming the lip shapes. I was in a bit of a rush when filming this. To correct the trimming if you mess it up, you can use a toothpick and scratch away excessive paint if you have varnished your skin tone before. What already leads to a more realistic look is to mix glaze medium into the red. It also works with water, but glaze medium makes it a bit easier because the paint remains the same consistency and doesn't get too runny. It's important not to use too much paint on the brush and to do more of glazing than painting. But this here might look a bit too pinkish, so what I usually do when using acrylics is to mix glaze medium, red, skin tone and brown. So here I'm mixing the skin tone with red first, and then I take a bit of brown and mix that with a bit of glaze medium. And this already gives you a good bright lip color. Then you of course can just take a bit more of any color to get a different result. So I take a bit more brown now. A bit of more red into the skin tone to get a subtle pink. A nudge more red into the mix leads to this. For more structure, you can also use a slightly different mix to your original lip mix and paint in some striations. Like I already said in the beginning, usually I like to use pastels over paint. And I do have a link in the description if you want to get these alongside the other colors I used. I'm just scratching away a bit of the pastel with a scalpel, and then it's important to use a dry brush to not smudge the pastel. Then you simply dab the pastel on, and when you're done you use a hairdryer or air from your airbrush to get the excess off. What the pastel does is it very subtly tints your original skin color. And if the result with the brush is too subtle, you can also use a Q-tip for a stronger result. When you use a dark brown instead of the red, you will get a look like this. And you can even take blue for lips that look really cold. Female lips are a bit easier, I would say, because when you paint a lipstick look, you can basically do anything. Here I'm using gory red, again with a bit of glaze medium. And what looks good in my opinion is if you paint the outlines of the lips more pronounced by using the color without glaze medium, and then you can blend it in if necessary by moving the color a bit to the inside of the lips or glazing over it again. In this case I even used a bit of black mixed into the gory red for the outline. And with that we have it for the pale skin tone. Let's try the same techniques on the dark skin tone. Here we start with the red pastel applied with a Q-tip, and this already leads to a nice and subtle result. But using dark brown pastel even looks better in my opinion. Even black works. I also tried blue, but that didn't look that good. And what's even better to use than the black is dark gray. Of course, you can also follow the same process with the acrylic paints. Here I started with a mix of red and dark flesh tone without using glaze medium. Getting glaze medium into the mix leads to this result. Mixing in a bit of pale flesh leads to a more pinkish look. So a lot of combinations work, it's just a matter of preference, I would say. For the female dark skin color, it's even easier than for the pale female skin tone because almost every color you put on looks good, even blue. The last part is varnishing, for which I usually take gloss or satin varnish, again based on preference. I didn't do it in this case and it worked, but if you use pastels, it's better to spray varnish first before you go over it with a brush, or you could smudge it. I personally like to take gloss for lipsticks and satin for a natural look. If you want to have a real dry look of the lips, matte also works. In this comparison I have only gloss varnished the first row of the very left tower to show you how I would not do it with gloss varnish on male lips. I also made some towers to show you how to paint teeth and the inside of a mouth, so make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and download the lip tower on Thingiverse, and you'll always have something on hand to do some tests before messing up your actual model. And I'll see you in the next video.